providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're listening. Welcome to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time joining us, Caregiver Crossing is a show that is brought to you by our friends at Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to talk about all things caregiving and more. We like to call it caregiving and more. I'm Terry Stacy, along with...
I'm Tina McIntosh.
Tina Bina McIntosh,
I'm just
everybody.
At you. Caregiving and more.
And more.
And then we also have our producer, Noah Taylor.
Hello.
Hi, Noah.
Hey, you guys, I know you think that because it's almost September, that the heat is over.
Oh, no.
It's not. And so I wanted...
Especially if you got the menopause.
Well, that is a different therapy session, my friend.
That heat is never gone.
I will meet you there with our fans and our ice packs. I do want to talk about, though, how to stay a little bit cooler. One, for you as the listener, and two, for the person that you're carrying alongside, because it's really easy for us as we get a little bit older to get dehydrated. Not knocking you out of this conversation, Noah. I know you're in your 20s. You can get dehydrated.
I'm thirsty.
But let's be honest. Terry and I are probably going to dehydrate first, right? So I'm going to give you a little quiz. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Energy drinks and caffeine, do they cause hydration?
Do energy drinks and caffeine, do they cause hydration?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I don't think they hydrate you.
No, they're caffeine.
Yeah, they can dehydrate you.
Yeah,
bad.
in a minute.
Bad. But, we all get up and have our tea or our coffee or grab a soda or whatever you grab, and then a little scary.
You should drink 2 cups of water before you do anything in the morning.
Can you chug it or do you have to sip it?
Well, I'm trying to get it down quick because your body has had a bit of a dehydration time. You've not had any drink since you went to bed or even before. And so when you get up, 2 cups of water.
It's like a jump start.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a jump start. Your body's like, thank you.
And I've heard to do room temperature in the morning. Just kind of let it sit out and go.
I didn't know about that. That's good to know.
I don't know. It might be true. How about a good night's sleep? Will a good night's sleep help you with your hydration?
I actually don't know that one.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna guess yes, because I feel like good sleep is helpful for most things.
Okay.
The answer is yes, Noah.
Woo!
Good job. Ding, ding for Noah. All right. And then let me give you another one. How about wearing the weather appropriate protective garments, whether it's a big hat or a shirt? Does that actually help protect you when it comes to hydration?
A hat, I would think, would maybe help you. Noah, what do you think?
I don't know. That's interesting because, while I know it does protect you from the sun, I know you must sweat a lot.
Oh, yeah. So you're losing the hydration.
You must sweat a lot more,
water.
but
yeah.
I don't know.
It's good for you. It is good, and it does help protect you from the sun's rays too. So all of that, and just want you to know that if you start seeing any kind of symptoms of heat stress, it doesn't have to be 95 and sunny out. This can happen anytime for anybody. And so if there's excessive sweating, to your point of sweating, if there's excessive sweating, if you're getting red or flushed skin, fatigue, dizziness, or nausea seems to be a big one there. Take a break. Let somebody know. Take a break and hydrate.
And here's the thing. Okay, your urine should be almost clear, right?
Well, that's what they say, but I take a Super B, and sorry, it might be too early for everybody on this, but it turns your urine.
B?
Yeah, and it turns your urine yellow.
Not a super
some
B.
medications.
You're having a super B.
B, as
like
in
the B vitamins.
As in B.
And so does it turn it a little
P.
yellow?
Yeah, really yellow.
Really yellow.
Does
Okay, so
everybody want to know
vitamin might
this?
change. No, I mean, it's important because they always say if you're hydrated, your urine should be clear. I know this, like when you go to a sporting event and you're sitting out in the sun, they say, make sure you keep your urine clear so you're staying hydrated.
Like, drinking a lot of caffeine or drinking a lot of beer at an event, that is not hydration.
No.
Right?
It is not.
I think back in my younger days, I thought that was hydrating.
Hey, did you know in our lifetime that the amount of saliva and spit that you produce could fill 2 swimming pools?
I would like to vomit right now. Do you know that spit and I do not go well together? Like,
is that right? Do you have a spit problem?
I don't like. Hurry, talk about something else.
I've known you for so many years.
I do not like. I don't like it.
But can you imagine 2 swimming pools filled?
I am going to leave the studio.
To walk out the door.
Oh, it grosses me
Okay,
out.
let's talk about kids and caregiving. Because do we have time? Now that
Yeah,
we've talked about, we're not even really going to transition well with this.
No, please
We're
talk
just
about
gonna
anything
try
other than
to
swimming
get
pools
this-
filled with
just
spit.
Picture this. Thank you for this. Noah brought this to our attention. And this is really, we've talked about this for a few years now, about the age of caregivers, right? And Noah, you found something with the American Association of Caregiving Youth. It is the only organization in the country dedicated solely to talking about and addressing caregiving youth issues. And this is pretty amazing that there are over 5.4 million caregiving youth in the United States.
Think about that. Hold on.
5.4
million caregiving youth in the United States. These are people under the age of 18 who provide some kind of, significant assistance or care for a family member with a chronic illness, a disability, or a mental health condition. 5.4.
And think about how hard that must be as you're under 18, you're living life, you're in school, there's activities, there's social events, it's the time of dating and obviously then studying and making good grades. And then on top of it, now you're somewhat caregiving, if not the whole caregiver, all the time caregiver.
Noah has a thought bubble.
Well, I was just kind of thinking, like, this is a whole, like, these people they're not even sure of who they are themselves yet. And they already have this whole other job that they have to take care of. And they get behind on school, they get behind in other areas of life. And that, I think it just can take on a whole lot.
So this group is actually was founded and is run by Dr. Connie Siskowski, and she and I talked years ago about bringing this organization to Indiana, and then I think COVID hit, and we all lost our minds, and I forgot about this important work until Noah brought it to us, and so. Can we get her on the show?
I would love to have her on. We're going to reach out. We're going to reach out
Okay.
and get Connie on here. Dr.
Dr. Connie.
And just see the latest, because we've talked about it for a long time. Well, the last few years about the age of caregivers getting younger and younger, and to see this number of 5.4 million, that's bigger than I ever thought, for sure.
Well, it's a lot. Okay, I know we have to take a break. I want to say this very quickly. Last week, we talked about ideas for aging for the state of Indiana. I'd like to hear you email me, please, and tell me what you think would make it more fun, more purposeful, all the great things to age. What makes it easier for you as you're aging? And so no idea is too small or too big. You can email me at tina@joycehouse.org and also provide feedback for the show. And so we will be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community near you. Stay put, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing after the break.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Glad that you are here. I'm Terry Stacy, along with Noah Taylor.
Hello.
Tina Bina is out today, and we're thinking about you, Tina, and hope you feel better soon. We're joined today by somebody who truly understands what it means to walk the caregiving journey. Her name is Ellen Gullett, and she's the coordinator of engagement at Second Presbyterian Church here in the city. And more than that, she's a caregiver at heart. After walking alongside her mom through a season of care. And we're going to talk to her about that journey too. So let's just get into it. She started this group, and let's start from thank you for being here, Ellen.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you. Yeah. Ellen and she reminded me that we go back a bit and to several other type of PR jobs that she had, marketing jobs, and how she ended up at Second Presbyterian. And we said you walked this journey with your mom.
Yes.
So you started the job at Second Presbyterian before or during your mom's journey, and what was she diagnosed with?
Yeah, I started during my mom's journey. I had been a caregiver in some way for my mom for about 20 years.
Oh, wow.
For the first 15 of those years, she lived a very full and independent life, and I was really just another set of ears to go to doctor's appointments and help. But then somewhere along the way, things became more complicated. So yeah, I'm a longtime member of Second Presbyterian, but I've only been on staff for about 2.5 years. And when I joined the staff, or when I was interviewing for my job even, I said to them, I think I would love to do this job and this work, but I need you to know that I help care for my mom. She's in assisted living, but I'm the only family member here. And so I'm her person. And there will be times when I have to go to doctor's appointments. There will be times where she just needs me for different things. And the response that I received was, that's great. We want you to take care of your mom or anyone in your family for that matter.
So many others have said to us that that's a fear of saying that out loud when you're either working or you are trying to get a new job. The fear of what that means to an employer, and that's a scary thing to do. But you got to do what you just did. Right? Yeah. No surprises. This is who I am, and this is what I have to deal with, what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I said my mom and I are a package deal at this point in our lives, and so as long as I can have that flexibility, and they just kept telling me over and over, you're doing what you should be doing. That's your first priority always, and so I've been really grateful for that and a place to work.
6 months go by.
6 months go by, and my mom, she died 6 months after I started working there. Her final 6 weeks of life, she was in hospice. And, I kept checking in every day and saying, okay, this is what I can do today, and this is what I can get done tomorrow. And they just kept saying, take care of your mom and don't worry about us. And at some point I said, do you need me to apply for FMLA? And they said, we'll see, but just keep taking care of your mom. So they gave me so much grace, and also provided outreach to my mother. I mean, the pastor who I worked alongside came to visit my mother she was not a member of the church, and they came to visit her. And so they just were so good to me during that time.
Yeah.
And then after my mom passed, and, the time that I needed to grieve. So I felt like I just was really led to be in that job, in that place. It was exactly where I needed to be able to care for her in the way that I really wanted to care for her.
No, I wanted to go with the next question, but you talk now.
I know.
I've taken
You're
over.
You're feeling everything now.
Well, I have so many questions too, and the group in particular.
Yeah,
we want to talk about that for sure.
So,
that she's created.
We can tell that you have incorporated this beautiful journey into your professional life. I'd love to just hear a little bit about your role at Second Presbyterian and the new caregiver support group you've started.
Yeah, so my role is coordinator of engagement. So congregational engagement, which includes everything from someone's first visit to the church, and that might be on a Sunday morning, or it may be because you came to volunteer in our food pantry. But whatever way brought you there, I'm probably going to get to know you. And then I also help folks who are, on their faith journey and decide maybe they want to become a member, or just plug in different ways as they're trying to figure out next steps in their faith journey. Sometimes it's long-term members who say, I need a new place to get connected. I'm looking for something different. So it's just, congregational engagement and hospitality, and that can look a lot of different ways. So
like dating groups.
We don't
singles.
We don't have one of
Do you
those.
have any groups for the singles.
But you're not the first person who's asked me that.
I'm starting to see more of those pop up within the churches.
Love is in the air.
Yeah, no, there are churches who
have trouble finding somebody that has your passion for this or that and his faith. Anyway, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
It's a real thing. We haven't started one of those yet. But so while this caregiving support group does fit into the nature of my work, I really kind of came at it really as a member and a volunteer from that mindset that I was someone who had walked a very specific journey, and I had something that I could offer others. And so, I went to my supervisor, and then we talked to our associate pastor for care about this idea. And everyone was really excited. Second Presbyterian has numerous support groups in place, but they didn't have one exactly like this, which is caring for aging parents. And so that's how we got started.
Oh, that was going to be my next question, is what kinds of caregiving roles are represented? So it sounds like a lot of people who are caring for their aging parents, maybe taking care of their own children at the same time.
Yes.
Are there any other types of maybe diagnoses that you see, or any kind of other roles of caregiver?
The majority of people who come are folks who are like I was, the sandwich generation. We're taking care of children and also taking care now of our parents. But we have had folks come to the group who maybe are the caregiver for their adult sibling. Or we've even had one or two people come, they were married to were married to spouses who are significantly older than them. And so, something can happen in a heartbeat where their role as the spouse quickly becomes one of a caregiver. And so we've had those folks too. So it can be anything. And in terms of diagnoses, again, all across the board. And families who are dealing with dementia, there's a whole another level of complications that come with that. But we do have people who have family members with dementia in the group. We have people whose parent just has, some sort of physical diagnoses. Some people are still living independently. Some are in assisted living. It covers the gamut.
We're going to get to a break here in just a second. Was it hard to get them to come?
The first couple meetings were pretty slim in attendance, but word started getting out. And so now we have, I would say we average around 6 to 10 each month.
That's great.
And it's not always the same people.
Yeah.
I find that people dip in and dip out.
People are right. They dip in, dip out, depending on what's happening in their life at that moment. But people are coming.
Yes.
And I think years ago, people would not have come. It just was kind of something that was, this is what I'm doing. And this is, and felt very isolated. And I hope more and more, and that is still a feeling, isolation, when you're a caregiver. But I'm hoping with shows like this and others, and so much that it has become a topic that is actually a headline oftentimes, that people are like, okay, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And they take that step and they join a group, or they become active on social media, so many of them, in different chat rooms and Facebook pages. I know we got to go. Yes. And don't go anywhere, though. Will you stick around for a minute?
Sure thing.
Okay, more with Ellen Gullett, coordinator of engagement at Second Presbyterian Church.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon & Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 4 decades of senior living experience, Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community near you. All right, stay put, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break. All right, welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. I'm your producer, Noah Taylor, joined by our extra special host.
Hi.
And today we are missing Tina. We're missing Tina today. She's out with a little viral infection, but she'll be back with us shortly. We're so excited that Ellen is sticking with us for this next segment. Ellen is the coordinator of engagement at Second Presbyterian Church and is a caregiver at heart. She's recently started a caregiver support group. So you've been a caregiver yourself. How has that shaped the way you have spoke with other caregivers in your support group?
I just have so much appreciation for anyone who's a caregiver. So whether they're caring for an aging parent or a child or a sibling or a friend, it's difficult work. It's physically taxing. It can be mentally taxing. It's emotionally taxing. And it's often thankless work. So I think more than anything, I'm just so appreciative of people who have the heart and the willingness to do it.
What do you think that caregivers need to hear more often, whether from professionals or whether that's from family or their own inner voice even? Is that a weird question?
Yeah, no, not at all. I think, again, affirmation of how hard it is. So I think when a caregiver can hear from the professional, the medical professional, that what they're doing is hard work and you're doing a good job. I mean, I know from my own, self-talk that happens inside your head, you're often, oh, I'm not doing enough, or, oh, I didn't do that as well as I could have, or I should have done it differently. So just the acknowledgement that you're doing the best you can, and it's hard work. And so I think that's really helpful.
I think you probably, when you are a caregiver, there's really nobody to tell you you're doing a good job. There really isn't.
No,
so you really have to feed that to yourself, unless you are part of a support group, and that's where you get that.
Yeah.
That okay.
Yeah, and I'm
okay.
People who've come to the group have commented like, "Gosh, before this, I felt like I was doing it all wrong, or I just didn't realize how many other people are going through it like me." And so I think it's been really helpful to the people that have attended.
Oh, I'm sure.
We really love to make sure that's emphasized for our caregivers. We always say on here, caregivers just want to be seen. They just want to be seen and appreciated. So I think that's really, really meaningful.
Yeah.
I think on the flip side of that, though, I'm curious if during your caregiver journey or in leading this support group, was there ever something that a well-meaning person said to you that just didn't help?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I will say this. There is a Duke University professor and author who writes a lot about this subject. Her name is Kate Bowler, and she herself was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer at the age of 35.
Oh, we were just talking about that.
That was our intro today. We were talking about how people under the age of 45 are increasingly being diagnosed with colon cancer.
Well, this is a great tie-in. I didn't know that. But but Kate has written a lot about, what you say and what you don't say to someone going through something difficult. And she's written several books of blessings for the hard things in life. And a lot of them are about either being a patient or being a caregiver. And so I have found her writing really meaningful, and I've shared it with people in the group. I often start or end our meetings with one of her blessings.
I like that. This group is a blessing. Was it easy? And I'm thinking about other churches, how this can spread. Is this something in churches everywhere and I just don't know it? These support groups for specifically caregivers?
I don't know, actually. I have to tell you and be honest, I really didn't do a lot of research to see.
What was it? Okay, right.
But I just felt like this was something I could offer. I knew that the church where I attended and worked didn't have it. And it made a lot of sense for me to try to start it there. I think the important thing, if you want to start a group like this, is thinking about where can you go where there's an infrastructure in place. So a place for you to meet, and a place maybe that can help you with like the communications or the promotion of the group.
Getting the word out.
And then, the other thing is organizations that kind of already have a built-in audience for you. So, that could be a hospital, it could be an assisted living facility, or a church. But a place where that you're probably already going to have some folks attached who have a need for that type of support.
I kind of love that you said you didn't do any research. It's something that, you knew that caregivers needed, and you said, I'm going to make this happen and make sure that they're seen and supported.
Well, I always said, it's the group that I needed as a caregiver that I didn't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also, when I was a caregiver, I didn't have a ton of time to do research then either, to see if there was a group I could join. So, I mean, I think a lot of people find themselves in that boat, like, gosh, I need something, but I don't have the time to find it.
What else did you need that you didn't have for other caregivers that are going through, this journey right now? What did you need that you didn't have?
Well, I mean, it takes a village, for sure. And in my case, I was the only family member that my mom had locally. I have one sibling, a sister, but she lives several states away. My dad was already deceased. So it was just us, but I relied on people. I relied on, my own immediate family. I relied on friends sometimes.
What would they do for you?
Like transportation, if I was going to meet my mom at a doctor's appointment, if I was coming from work, and sometimes, I didn't have all the time I needed to go get her, go to the doctor's appointment, take her back to assisted living, and then get back to work.
Yeah.
But if I could have someone who could help me with either end of that transporting, that was really helpful. And sometimes the assisted living facility could help with that too, but not always.
Yeah.
And so I
think that's a great question. These are things that, that we can do to help you that we might not think about. Like, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That you might need, I always think about meals and those other things, know, but not transportation, but you needed it.
That can be really helpful.
That can be helpful.
Sometimes if I was going to be out of town, maybe and I needed some respite too here and there.
Right.
But I would arrange for someone to go visit my mom just to make sure she had at least one social interaction happening while I was gone.
Good.
Yeah.
Ellen Gullett is with us, coordinator of engagement in Second Presbyterian Church, and she has created a caregiver support group within the church. And it is just, it's great to have you here because you also have gone through that journey.
Yes.
Anything else you want listeners to know before we let you go? What have we got? About a minute left?
We got a little bit left.
A little bit, about a minute left?
I think, I'd like to ask, what would you say to somebody right now who feels like they're barely keeping their head above the water? Any caregiver who might be struggling a little bit listening right now?
I think that's a common feeling to feel. And, we talk about self-care, and self-care gets thrown around a lot, but it really is important. And so, self-care can sometimes be as simple as some breathing exercises and some meditation, or it can be some physical exercise. And if you have the ability, certainly travel or time away. But it's like the flight attendants say, you can't put on someone else's oxygen mask until you put your own oxygen mask on.
It's such a good metaphor.
And my mom would sometimes, she would get worried at the end of her life, when I was gone, that something would happen to her while she was gone. And I would just remind her, Mom, I've got to do this for myself. I can't be on my A game for you if I don't take a little time for myself. And, so that's how we would work through it.
Beautiful. Beautifully said.
Thank you so much, Ellen. And thank you, Cardon, as well, for connecting us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Can I tell you when our group meets?
I was just going to say, yes, please.
Please tell us when they are and how can people get in contact as well.
Yeah. So we meet at Second Presbyterian Church, which is at 7700 North Meridian on the second Monday of the month at 6:30 p.m. I always offer a Zoom link because a lot of times people can't get to us for various reasons. So we have folks on Zoom as well as in the room. And you can get more information by calling the church at 317-253-6461.
Thank you again, Ellen. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. That website again is joycehouse.org. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. I am Tina McIntosh in studio with Noah.
Hello.
Noah Taylor, everybody. This segment makes me nervous because Noah says to me, hey, Tina, we got a bag of questions.
We've got a bag of questions for you.
And I've been doing this for 25 years and I have personal experience as a caregiver too. It always makes me feel just a little like, what if I can't answer the question? But I'll just tell you I can't answer it. Mm-hmm. Okay,
Do the best you can. Okay.
Hit me.
So number one, we've got a good hitter here. We've got, how can caregivers manage the emotional toll? This is a hard one. How can caregivers manage the emotional toll of seeing their loved one's condition progress?
The emotional toll of seeing their loved one's condition progress. My head instantly goes to two completely opposite thoughts. Mm-hmm. So, ready? They're still them, right?
Very important.
Your loved one is still that, there's still that same spirit in there. Their bodies might be different. The way they communicate might be different. It might be more with their eyes and less with their words, or it might not be at all, but they're still them. And they're not themselves.
So yes, two different, very different things.
I know.
But they are, they're both true. So
They are both true. It can be both, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there are a few things that fall into this. One, usually if it's someone that we love, we take their condition, their behaviors, their symptoms personally somehow, and it's not personal. And so that, I think, from the emotional part is something to remember. And you find the moments to share the love. I'm not saying it's going to be easy all the time, but you find the moments, the moment when there's a squeeze of a hand or when their eyes light up and you're like, yes, like they're there and they saw me. It's when you took some time and you rubbed lotion on their hands. I'm thinking further, right? Further down the road in a diagnosis, whatever it is. But, and also know that your emotions drive theirs. So if you come in fast and hyper and anxious and you're talking really fast and blah, 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 that's contagious.
Oh, yeah.
Like you feel that too, right?
You definitely feel the anxiety. I mean, you don't even have to have a condition or a diagnosis or any diagnosis. Yeah, anybody would feel that tension or anxiety in the room if you come with that.
Yeah. But if you come in with sincerity or vulnerability or love, no matter what you're doing, they feel that too. So there's my answer.
All right, we'll go right on into the second question. For caregivers who are hesitant about group activities, how does an adult day, or specifically Joyce House, ensure that every guest feels comfortable and included?
Oh, I like this one. So at Joy's House, and I would argue that any adult day, because we're friends with the adult days, we really do our best to get to know every person and meet them where they are. We want to know what makes them who they are throughout their entire lives. We also very much, Laura kind of touched on this too. We want to meet them where they are. And so definitely seeing their individuality through that. And it can show up in all kinds of ways, right? It's activities, it's food, it's alone time. And we also make sure at Joy's House specifically that there are places and spaces for people to get away from the group, to get away from someone else, to get away from themselves. Like, I need a timeout on occasion. So for them to be alone, to just kind of recenter, maybe go for a walk, or just do something by themselves.
All right, I think that's a really great answer. We'll go into the third one. For those who are exploring end-of-life options, how can an organization like Joyce House help facilitate some of the harder conversations that you might have with your family members?
So in the vast majority of end-of-life conversations that I've had with people, personally and professionally, everyone else is more uncomfortable than they are. They know it's happening, or they're accepting of what is to come.
They've thought about it a little bit more.
Right. And not to say that everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to die. I don't mean that. It's just we know that end of life is coming at some point. And it's usually the people around them that have the harder time. And so places like Joy's House, we have an end-of-life doula program, end-of-life program, and end-of-life doulas on staff. So we can certainly help with that. But I find that we can have conversations way easier and facilitate group conversations if necessary, way easier. And I think any of us who work in long-term care, long-term and healthcare in general, we get a little more comfortable with some of these things.
Yeah, because you've had the experience.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've got one more question for you. What advice would you give caregivers who are struggling to meet nutrition needs? Maybe can't give their loved ones the exact food requirement they need.
I love that we went from end-of-life conversations to nutritional needs. No questions off the table, people.
Exactly. The caregivers are curious.
Send them my way, tina@joyshouse.org. So there were a few things. One, when you're trying to help someone eat, the placement of food on a plate is really important.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, like where you place it and the ease of being able to get to it and get it, from plate to mouth kind of a thing too. But just visually, sometimes the color, bite size. Maybe it's something that if somebody can't use a fork easily anymore for whatever reason, they can pick it up, finger food type things. Maybe you put out apple slices instead of candy dishes. Well, that's bad. They'll go brown. But you know what I mean? Put out a nut mix or something that is high protein and has nutritional value versus, candy corns.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at candy corns, but if you're looking for nutrition,
Something a little bit better for
there
your
are
body.
tricks to do that. Also, giving somebody a choice is a big deal. Here's my recommendation. You give them 2 choices. You don't care which one they choose. Just give them 2 choices.
Yeah.
When we have choice, we seem to do things a little bit better.
Yeah, it seems like the choices make it easier than an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And also, here's another, like dry spinach, or get some of the super greens, not processed, but dried stuff.
Yeah.
Put it in your foods. There's nothing to say you can't put it in that shake, quote unquote, smoothie, or you can't put it in your lasagna or whatever. So find your ways to put it in there. And then go to Caregiver Way. Visit caregiverway.com is our platform for family caregivers. So visit caregiverway.com. I know we're going to have to go here in a second.
We've got to run.
If you need anything, have any advice for us or things you want us to share with other people, email me at tina@joyshouse.org.
Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon and Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 40 years of senior living experience. Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, take good care of each other.